Good day, everyone. James Hicks here, Technologist Forum. What it do? What it do? Here to talk with y'all. Here to do a little Q&A, a little AMA, all the things, right? So, impromptu session. May have some guests, hosts joining as well to dive into some of the topics for today. I'm just going to be real loose with what I got to talk about, but let's go and get into it. Look, it's December 2nd. If you haven't done your holiday shopping yet, it's not too late, but some of the deals are winding down for sure. For sure. On a technology side, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever you want to call it, those have definitely gotten to a point. So talk to me about what you got, right? If you got something for yourself, don't give away anything that you may have gotten something for somebody else, just in case they're watching or listening. We don't want to spoil that unwrapping experience. But talk to me about what you may have picked up for yourself this holiday season, and um, let's go through it. I bought some things. Listen, I don't think my wife's listening and watching right now. I don't want to tell her how much I spent on myself. I think she's ice skating right now in New York. Shout out to my extended family in New York that she's hanging out with. But and I don't know if Miss India Delgado is watching, but yes, I did get me another Delgado, and that's a chair. I, I got a fiend. I got a fetish for chairs, and I got a fetish for cameras. I'm gonna have the top notch of everything. And the reason I bring up India Delgado's name is because she's the one that got me started with this particular brand of chair. So yeah, that's gonna be arriving next week, and I'm looking forward to that. It's not the dope one that our dude Marshall Fox has. I'm not at that level, right? I'm still blue collar. I'm not high end like that. But I do have something pretty dope coming, and I'm looking forward to. Listen, I spend so many hours sitting in this studio, sitting in this office, sitting in this position right here. I want to make sure that I'm comfortable and make sure that something's going to last me at least for a year, because that seems to be my cycle for buying new gear, new products, especially for as it relates to that. There were a couple of stories until I get some comments, until I get some interaction from folks talking about what they may have bought for themselves, or if you got any questions about tech gear that you still want to purchase for yourself. Some news stories that I wanted to ask about and kind of talk about. Let me see if I can pull up one of these stories here. Y'all know I'm an Apple person. So one story in particular that we need to talk about is this one about name drop. Everyone's up. All iPhone users, obviously, typically a high percentage of us have the most current release of the operating environment on our phones. And there is this misinformation that's going out about this new feature called name drop, and technical issues that folks are having. Excuse me, parents are having concerns about the possible ability of strangers stating. Pardon my pause. I got messages coming in my ear because I got my Ray-Ban Metas on. So every time I talk, I got messages from my phone coming into my ear. So I can't triple task. People saying they're coming because they're supposed to have been here when we go live at 10:30, but I'm getting all these messages. Back to name drop. Uh, the issue does not necessarily resolve around the feature and the function and the capability. Name drop essentially is a digital business card, a digital contact information sharing application that allows you to put one phone up to the other, one iPhone up to the other that's running this current operating environment, and you can systematically and very seamlessly share your contact information, your name, your address, your phone number, your email, things of that nature. Now, I can understand, I guess, the 35,000 foot level where someone thinks that this could be an issue, but there are ways of locking down that capability. There are ways of saying that you can't just share the information, your contact information, with random folks. It has to be someone that's already um, you can't just you can lock it down so you don't share it with just anybody randomly, right? You actually have to opt into it. But there are capabilities and the abilities to actually turn that feature off, the the airdrop functionality, So I'm just saying what you're seeing, what you're probably hearing out there on the news is more of a misinformation piece in terms of about the capability and the challenges with name drop. So I will put a description I'll put a link in the description about this explanation and how to actually disable name drop sharing and name drop functionality if folks have concerns about that. I see some folks dropping in here in the background, so let me go ahead and bring them in here. Corey Gump, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, how you doing?
What's happening with you, man? All right, good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Same here, same here. Thanks for having me.
So talk to me, man. What is going on in your neck of the woods? I got half of my family over on the East Coast right now, so and they seem to be bundled up quite well. It looks cold over there. What's going on with you, man?
Actually, today is pretty nice. It's like 55 degrees going on 60 here.
Okay.
So it's
They
definitely
are
some
ice
weird
skating
weather. It's
underneath the
30.
Brooklyn Bridge right now. Is when I'm so yeah.
That's New Yorkers for you. We still
Yeah.
try to force it no matter what.
Yeah, they are ice skating underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. So that's what's jumping off right there. Look, man, I just started going over just some random news topics. I was asking folks. I opened by asking holiday season, holiday shopping, if there was something particular that maybe you bought for yourself. Obviously, don't want to give away any secrets if you bought something special for someone else. I want to put that out here in these streets. But did you pick up something for yourself?
Not yet.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Come on, now, there's no more
Actually, yeah,
sales.
well, yeah, I got Ecamm. I
Yes,
treated
sir. Yes,
myself to
sir.
Ecamm.
Got it. That's a
So
good
I'm
treat
setting
right
that
there.
up. Shout out to Steve. He helped me go do a walkthrough of it. So
Love it.
I'm ready to start setting that up. Also got me Opus. So I'm gonna test that out.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Opus in the last couple of weeks, they've been showing out. They
yeah.
have put
So
some new functionality in there. So okay, so you get yourself a couple of good things for the toolbox.
sorry, y'all. If you see a little sweat, I was rushing to get here.
Well, you see, there you go. You were supposed to be. We not. I see. I'm trying to deviate. I'm
Look,
trying not to say you were supposed to be here on
yeah,
on.
I normally am, but and then I mean, I was for me, it was just checking out some of the software like you talk about, Steve talks about, and doing testing it out for myself, doing a test run so I can talk to the community about it. But I was eyeing a camera, but I decided to hold off on that for now.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Well, let's at least dive down the technical wants, pros and cons of the camera. I'm not gonna make you pull out the credit card. We're probably gonna go to a website, but let me bring on other gentleman who's on with us right now. So Tall Boy has actually joined as well. Shouts out to you, brother.
Yeah,
Look at it.
yay.
Look at Cyber Monday breaks records. He's got his marketing up behind him and everything. This man act like he act like he does a tech show every Wednesday. I don't know what it is.
Something like that.
Something like that. And then see Corey, he act like, well, I got two Corys here. So I'm gonna refer to one as
Oh,
Corey and one as Tall Boy. So see Corey, he act like he didn't see the message about, the show 10:30. Let's make sure that we on time. But because he didn't respond. Tall Boy didn't respond. But that's okay. It's okay. I ain't gonna throw anybody under the bus. Corey Gumbs, let's talk about let's get back into that because I think Tall Boy will be interested in this conversation as well. You were looking at a camera. Talk about this camera that you were considering.
it was just the Sony A6400.
Wow.
I was looking
Okay.
at that. Some low, not too high entry, just middle of the road. Compared to what I'm using now, which is the Canon T7i with 1080, because
Okay.
I want to get to the 4K capability. So, I know that's a big thing, especially when you're doing YouTube and other videos. I wanted to have something that I can shoot 4K versus just the regular 1080p.
Especially when you get out there in them streets, right? And Corey, you out there,
Yeah.
you out there. Listen, let me give you these flowers, man. You out there in them streets in New York doing the thing and having the conferences that that I talk about all the time. But you out there doing it, and Tall Boy, you got a 6400, right? Or do you have the 5100?
I had the 63, and
63. Okay.
it got messed up while we
Oh,
were in
that
while I
was
was
the
in
one that
Europe.
went. That was right. That was the one that had the issue. I'm sorry.
Just a freak accident, but I had it for about 3 or 4 years before I took some pictures of, a different complexion, and the camera just broke. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know where this show went, but I'm gonna throw the subscribe link up right now. Y'all
But
subscribe because we talking about some
I
things.
I fooled around and picked up a A7 based off of your recommendation. I picked up a A7 because you said it was a full frame. I
Right.
really don't like it. But then I also have the A5100 as far as this is what I'm looking into right now is the A5100 with a 16 mil lens. And I, you know, not trying to be funny and not to take away from Corey's thing because I don't really know his use case, but I was looking at the 6100. It's the generation after the 64. So they had the 64, the 65, and then the 61. And then I
Yeah.
think it went up to the A66 and then the A67. So I didn't
Correct.
understand the difference between the 61 and the 65, but it just seems like it was the 61 may be better than the 64. And I think it's still all in the same price point, if that makes sense, that he may want to look at. So not taking anything away from the 64, because I was going to go ahead and go with that one as well. But then when I started looking at what the 64 versus what the 65 could do, the 65 versus what the 61 can do, it's the same camera, just the materials. I think it had more of a plastic build on the 61 versus a more durable build on the 65. So I'm not taking anything away from the 64, but my thing is if it can pretty much do the same thing, then go with it. And like I said, I've been looking, on what is that website that you give me or that you told me to buy at the aftermarket or something like that?
It was MPB.
Yeah, MPB. When I was
Yeah,
looking at it,
yeah.
I was like, I might as well look at the 61 versus what the 64 could do. So, because remember, the 61 came after the 64.
Yeah.
So, we may just want to
Okay.
look at that. So, but I don't know if it does give you that 4K quality, but for YouTube and for social media, ain't nobody looking at no 4K. They
So
looking on.
so keep talking because that's where I was going to go. So Corey, right? I mean, at the end of the day, especially so right now for this particular show, you guys probably already noticed that we are having zero issues with the platform going out. So I made adjustments to how we're streaming out using Ecamm and some capabilities. So we're going out 1080 30. I've dropped down the bit rate, less moving graphics. So no one is actually streaming live in 4K.
On 4K, yeah.
Right. We're recording locally in 4K and then pushing that out to YouTube. But the live stream in and of itself, because it's so much of a resource, it doesn't matter if you're using
Right.
vMix, doesn't matter if you're using Ecamm, StreamYard, whatever the case may be. Pushing out a 4K stream when you have multiple people, that's tough. And you're gonna get what you get.
Well, yeah.
So
But I was going to be using it besides that, just using that to do videos
Okay.
outside of YouTube. So some of the stuff we're going to be doing with the community. So it was more of like what gives me both.
Yeah, so
I know the streaming part it's a lot of
so
resources.
here's my question to you. Are these paying clients or are these
Oh no,
just
I'm doing it for
regular?
my own content, my own stuff, like
Okay. So
courses
and not to take
and
anything away from 4K and 1080, but dude, most people are going to be watching this content on their phone. And if they're watching it on their phone, they're not pulling
that's
out
fair.
4K quality. I mean, even now you try
Yeah.
to have somebody look at it on a computer, they're looking at it on their phone, and your phone is going to give you 1080. So even though it's in 4K,
Okay.
it's still going to come out. They're still going to receive it in 1080. So now you can future proof yourself, but my thing is go master this camera, have it for about 2 or 3 years, because I just don't think the only time you're really going to get the 4K is if they're watching it on TV. And how many people are going to watch your edited content on TV unless it's like, God forgive me for saying this, unless it's a funeral or it's maybe a wedding or something like that. But if you're just doing like some community, I was at the club, I was at a party, I was doing a community event, they're watching that on their phone.
Yeah, and you think about it as well. A lot of social platforms still don't really upscale to those higher bit rates. The only one that goes to 4K is YouTube. You got 1 billion plus people on Facebook, and they can't get past 1080. You got Amazon live shopping. You can't get past 720. I'm also streaming on Twitter. I hate to call it, I'm never going to call it X. So I'm streaming on Twitter right now, and that's going out at 1080. So future proof yourself by having the functionality and capability in that camera. Yes, I completely agree with that. And some of the recording mode differences are are what's really makes up the 64, the 65, 67, 66, right? You want 4K, 24, 30, 60, and if you're crazy, 120 frames per second, but you want to at least have those options for recording modes on that camera. And then also think about the 422 versus 421, the 8-bit versus the 10-bit. Just some of those capabilities in terms of if you're going to start doing color grading and things like that. So just whatever your use case is. But to be honest with you, I'm a Sony dude.
Yeah, now I would not. Yeah, you need to leave that Canon
portfolio that is wrong. Anything you go with from a Sony that is within the last 5-6 years in terms of manufacturing, you got more than you need. To be honest with you, you got more than you need.
And to be honest with you, a lot of people don't say this because we're always looking at the videos of what the next camera is, but it's not in the camera; it's in the lens, and it's also how you shoot it. So and I don't know your use case, but I mean, putting a 50 mil versus a 24 to 70 versus a 70 to 200 or a 16 mil on there, putting something like that on your camera and you getting that crispy look with a prime lens versus getting another camera.
Bruh.
That
I'm looking
it's
at
night. It's night and day.
So I got to get used to it because I got Corey.
This is a good conversation for me. Thank you, because I've been trying to pick on I've been picking people's brains because I'm more the audio person. So like learning the camera game has been bits and pieces from like yourself, James, and Steve, and other people in my circle that I see that have that component. So like I just learned what a prime lens is like a couple weeks ago. So
love it.
So I'm learning it. So that's why I was like, that's why I kind of held off on the camera for myself, because I was like, you know what, let me keep learning more and more about this stuff, and just what I'm working with is doing fine, but let me learn.
So you already got the Canon. You already got the Canon camera. So since you already got the Canon camera, you probably already have the lenses, right? And all you got to do is just go get a Sony E-mount, and you can get the manual version, which is I think about $60-$65 on eBay. Or if you want the one that does the automatic, I think it's like $150, where it does the zoom in, zoom out versus the manual version. I have the manual version. I ain't rich. I ain't got it like that. So I just got the cheaper version. And I'm using a a Canon lens on my Sony body. And I got a prime lens, 70 to 200, which is my zoom lens. If I'm at a conference or a seminar and they got me in the back of the room, I can get the pimples on their face right there on the podium. But then if I need that 24 to 70, I can get that crispy look, and I'm still using a Sony body, but I'm using a Canon lens. So it's really the secret is in the sauce of the lens, as opposed to trying to say I'm going to get that body, because James be looking extra crispy over there. I don't know what he's using over there.
Yeah. Well, okay, we can talk about that. And Miss Eileen, she watching us on her big screen. She probably got 85-inch TV. She watching us.
She got that Black Friday deal.
Let me make sure I don't have no lint on my shirt. But let me caveat what Tallboy was saying though. Yes, you can do it. Right, you can have a different body and you can have different manufacturer glass. What is this? Your statement that you have in your merch store? Date the body but marry the lens, something like that. It's all about that glass for sure. Keep in mind though as well, if you do something like that, some of the feature functionality comforts that you would typically get by having Sony body and Sony glass, you're not going to have. So some of that really rapid autofocus, some of that ability to move as quickly, and the in-camera functionality won't be there. Because again, if you got a Sony body and you got a Canon lens, and then you've got a coupler in between, you're not going to be able to do all of the things automatically. But you can still do what you need to do. So kind of keep that in mind. You asked me what I'm running. I'm running the ZV-E1, so I'm running full frame, and I switched to all Sony glass.
He rich, Corey.
Listen. I just have the right.
I was looking at that camera too.
Correct
They had some deals on that one too.
Yeah. So
I saw some
this
deals
is the
on
joint
the
right
ZV.
here. So I got the ZV-1,
and this is a gym. This
millimeter.
is a gym drop, and I know people funny acting when it comes to this stuff because folks like stuff that's brand new out the box. That's you. Me, I'm going to a pawn shop. Straight up. I'm going to a pawn shop. I'm going to see if I can find that same body because my thing is let me see what it feels like. Let me know what it works with. You know, I get it. You can go to B&H and you can return it in 30 to 45 days, however long that window is. That's fine. But I'm going to the pawn shop and I'm going to go find that deal because somebody said they needed a couple coins for the holidays and they pawned their thing off. And guess what? I'm going to capitalize. And that's just me. Now, I see how James took me off the screen because it's like these are the views of Tall Boy and not anybody else. but
we're not going to lose no endorsements because you sending folks to the pawn shop instead of B&H. We're not going to.
But you gotta, and I'm not. So, like I say, you can knock it all you want, but you got to understand they're trying to sell something. Where you
fit in. Hey,
they're trying to sell something, and they're testing it and making sure that it works before they even put it on the floor. So they know that stuff works. So my thing is a lot of people, I don't mind having a secondhand camera because, you know, I need to know that it worked. Like I said, that 6300, I was scared to make that purchase. Now, I had that camera for about a good 4 or 5 years. It survived me throughout the whole pandemic. It's done multiple Mayor's Balls. It's done multiple CESs. It's done multiple overseas trips. Now, it just so happened that was just when I Googled it, that 6300, they did say that it did have there was a recall, or they were saying that they had problems with it just dying out on you just sporadically. Now that had nothing to do with it coming out of a pawn shop because I had it for so many years, and the amount of hours that I had put on that body, you couldn't go wrong with it. So, I mean, like I said, I can't tell you not to go to MPB, go to KEH, go to B&H, or go to a pawn shop, go to Best Buy. I can't tell you where to go. You just have to feel comfortable in your purchase. But my thing is, if you're, because I was just like you. I was Team Canon. You couldn't tell me nothing about Sony. My guy was a Nikon guy. You couldn't tell me nothing. But I finally just took a chance on Sony, and when I tell you I went Sony, and I ain't never looked back. That's all. I'm
not.
Sony just works.
I got the Canon. I got the Canon because somebody was selling it for $300. So I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the only reason.
For a starter camera, I got some Canons over here that I'm willing to bless some folks if they willing to give me a couple coins.
I started with Pentax and Nikon. So look, this we old school. This is where we started from as well. So, but when it comes to video, listen, it is what it is. You definitely want to be with Sony because they have mastered, they started it, and that just makes sense. But yeah, check. Right. I'll send you this link. Man,
how much is the 61? How much is the 61 going for on MPB? Because I just saw 748 over at
they got 501. Condition excellent. So and our friend,
what you're about to pay for the 6400. The 61 is better than the 64.
Yeah. I was going to say, so our friend Diana Gladney, who a lot of us know as well in the eCam community, she's talked about this before. Listen, when she's shopping out on Amazon, don't always have to buy that new one. Buy that return one, because I know I return stuff as well within my window and it's just barely out of the box. I haven't touched it, has no nicks or scratches on it, and you can get significant value by getting return gear off of Amazon because they have quality control. Everyone checks to make sure that one, the thing works, then it's not missing anything. If aesthetic blemishes are nothing, who cares about blemishes and scuff marks and that type of thing? If the sensor is fine and perfect without any issues, if it's not missing anything, if it's not cracked or broke, man, if you don't mess around and get this cosmetic condition excellent, price on this $509. Everything's in the box. What's not included is an eye cup. So what? So Corey, what's not in missing, and you can go buy that at your local Kmart. Do they still have Kmart? I just dated myself.
No, they don't. Okay. No, you old, brother. No, they don't have.
I used to work for Kmart, so
I just worked out with the blue light special. Oh my God. Okay. So there we go.
So I mean, hopefully that helps
this
you.
Was helpful.
I mean, hopefully you're getting the understanding, but you're talking to camera heads that can give it to you in a breakdown method. to how we use it or how we utilize it. Some things happened to me earlier this week where, I had an unfortunate mishap. And when I was talking to somebody else in regards to, that situation, they're more experienced and they're more versed. And it was like, dude, I don't know nothing about this. I'm a computer guy, I'm a camera guy, video editing guy, but this is your lane. So I'm over here trying to grasp whatever knowledge that they're trying to give me when it came to that information. So when you get around people like a James, myself, or anybody else that does cameras, pick their brains on why Sony is better or why this model is better. Because I gave you, like I said, when you go do the reviews on a 65 versus a 61, you're gonna be like, oh, that's the only difference.
Right.
And then this is the price versus that's the price. Oh yeah, I don't care about that. But then you might look at the 64 and you're going to be like, oh, well, I do want this functionality. So, okay, that's $200 more. And then you're going to be looking at the price, and not saying price is about everything, but you're talking to two people that I just jumped on the call and you started talking cameras and it was like, oh yeah, go with this over that.
This is your wheelhouse. This is your, and I'll even say this, Corey, broaden your community just a little bit, because folks that are listening and watching and already commented, Miss Eileen here, Eileen Smith, she is a wealth of knowledge on everything, and she used to, I don't know if she still does, go live like every other day on Amazon and on Twitter, doing or unboxing, doing I use this versus that kind of thing. And she's gone through, I've seen her go through iterations of webcams and mirrorless cameras as well. So check out her shop on Amazon as well. She may have some good tidbits, things like that. Listen, I'm over here helping folks out. Spreading some Christmas cheer. Let me ask. All right, so let me ask this. Now that I got a panel on, we already talked about name drop. Already talked about that before you guys came on. I asked what you guys both got for yourselves for Christmas. Tall boy, I'm not gonna ask you what you got yourself for Christmas, because I'm not gonna put you out there in these streets. I know you, and I'm not gonna do that to you.
Corey, he only saying that because I got some.
I'm not going.
I got some evidence.
I'm not going to make you uncomfortable in here, because this is.
I got some real evidence. Let's just put it like that, Corey. Like, I got some evidence that nobody else got, and if it gets out there, he gonna have some explaining.
There's gonna be some furniture moving before you know it, boy. Let me ask you about this. This is something that I've been thinking about and considering as well. All these social platforms and trying to get in where you fit in, trying to be where your community is, and this also key for you, Corey, because you audio and you got to be where your community is. I'm thinking about X, Twitter versus Threads versus Spill versus Blue Sky versus Fanbase, right? Where do you live, and where is your community versus where are you trying to get to for 2024, right? And I mentioned those 5 because those are the ones that are top of mind for me right now. So Twitter, Threads, and I say Threads, not Instagram, right? Because Threads is kind of up and coming, trying to by itself. So Twitter, Threads, Spill, Blue Sky, and Fanbase. Tall boy, let me start with you, man, because you came in late. But where are you living, and where are you trying to get to for 2024 in terms of reaching your community?
So are you asking where am I posting my content, or where am I doing most of my watching?
So from a content creator perspective, where's your home base? And of those that I mentioned, or if there's any other ones, where are you adding to your portfolio that you're going to start working with your community at? Or are you going to take advantage of Threads and Spill and Blue Sky and Fanbase and or anything else? I'm just bringing up some other up and coming social networks that are trying to get people's eyes and attention.
I'm a one-man band here.
Go ahead.
And so with that being a one-man band, it's hard to kind of find the right copy for each platform, right? So I'm using a service called Socialmonials, where I can upload the content and then I can post it on one platform, and then it can send it out to multiple platforms. So my Facebook groups, and then I think LinkedIn, that's all on Socialmonials. It'll allow me to do Instagram, but then you have to do an extra segment, or you have to do an extra step, and I don't like the extra step. So I'm logging in one account, logging out the other, doing a copy and paste, and it gets frustrating. So as far as my main long form content, solely YouTube, right? I've been testing behind the scenes on LinkedIn, Facebook group, and then also my Tall Boy fan page. But as far as my personal page, because I can't bring comments in, I don't even utilize that. But then when I start doing my micro content, fan base, I posted there, but I'm not expecting anything there because there's an audience there, but I haven't been able to tap into them with that content. Instagram is there, but they're not resonating with me, and I'm probably not doing what I need to do over there. Now, Facebook is giving me some of the information. They're giving me some views or some likes because those people know me, right? Facebook is a community of people that already know you, but you're trying to find that base that does not know you, and they're just scrolling and they're looking for something. LinkedIn, surprisingly, I'm there, and I might get a view, one or two, from somebody I've never even known, saw the content or something like that, and that might have been with one of the 3 hashtags that they allow you. And then I'm not really putting the micro content on YouTube the way I probably should, and I know that that's where the money really is. And then lastly, I'm just not a TikTok guy. I'm just not there. I'm watching James. I'm watching what he's doing, and he's making it happen. And I know that looking at the strategies and looking at things, I'm gonna have to come over there, whether I like it or not. And unfortunately, that vertical feed like this, as opposed to the landscape feed, I mean, this is what the market has said that is deemed acceptable, and you're just going to have to receive it whether you like it or not. And then I also have the Roku and the Amazon channel where I'm posting my content there. So it's just a matter of just getting more downloads and getting more people to, go into the barbershops, beauty salons, or maybe somebody that has a place of business and say, hey, will you check out my channel? And at least you have some content there. I just need to find more shows underneath my channel to be able to give me that. So I think,
because your Roku channel is more kind of an umbrella, right? It's
correct.
Tall Boy, it's Lab Tech, and then you're looking to brand other properties and then put it kind of
Correct.
your
Bring
own
other
Netflix
shows,
kind of thing.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like almost like a Tubi or a Netflix, but you have to find the content and have somebody that's like, hey, I have a great show, but I need to find people who are more consistent with their content. And it doesn't not necessarily have to be tech. It could be something hood and ratchet. It could be something crafting. It could be, people that love motorcycles. As long as you're giving me something consistent and it's polished, I can utilize that content, because I'm not just throwing a random YouTube video up on Roku or Amazon. And I think a lot of people aren't even looking at owning their own content, right? So owning your own content, and you can control what goes out. People don't even look at Amazon or Roku as a possible network for themselves. So,
okay. So out of that, it sounds like you're gonna live on. You're gonna live on YouTube, but you're gonna give Facebook a chance. I think
well,
I'm
I'm
talking.
already.
I think I got a mirror up. I'm talking to you, but I'm not kind of looking at myself when I say that, because you know how I feel about Zuckerberg and Facebook. Because there's a billion.
Well, it's
people
not about. It's like me, like you just said. It's not about. I don't like TikTok, so it's not about me not liking TikTok. It's where are the people. So it's not whether or not you like Facebook or not.
Kind of get out of your own
this
way.
This is and I'm in my way. Like, I'm gonna be the first one to admit, Tall Boy is literally in his own way, and I have been praying to God, please remove me and let you just work, right? So it's the same thing with you. If you have a community of people that know you, built trust with you, they have built a community with you, then why are you not utilizing them? Because you're inviting them. Now, if they don't want to watch, they don't want to watch. But that micro content that you're posting, they'll see it on Facebook, and they might be like, you know what? I seen that little small snippet that he had. And what day does that show come on? And they already know you. You're not out there looking for other people because they're already following you. Now, if you're running ads, that might be a little different. But or if you have a group page or a fan page or a business page, now that's something different. But you got to remember, the folks on Facebook, whether you like Zuck or not, those people, they like your family photos. They love it when you take a trip somewhere or you get an unboxing and you talk about whatever family vacation. Those folks already know you. They knew you from college all the way up to where you are today. So why are you not utilizing and letting your people know? Now, if you're looking for a different audience, then I think Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, depending on whoever your target audience is, I think that's kind of where it houses. So as much as I'm talking to you right now, James, I'm talking to myself and saying, get out of my way. I got to get out of my way. It is what it is.
So let me interject, and then Corey, I'm gonna have you going, because I think your perspective is gonna be different because you're coming from the audio side. And again, I'm man in the mirror, right? One finger out, three fingers back at me. And anybody I see, I know a lot of folks. I see folks watching out there on Twitter. So come on over to YouTube so you can make comments. Appreciate you for watching as well. I had to get out of my own way with TikTok. Right, because I was on the live show with you, Tall Boy, talking about, man, I don't understand it. The algorithm is wrong. I don't know why all I see is half naked people dancing, and I couldn't figure it out. Then I did the research, figured it out, got my algorithm right, and started honing my skill. Got out of my way, started honing my editing skills. Listen, I got my stuff down to 30, 60, 90 seconds, flashy music, dope effects, J cuts, all. So I got that down. I got the technique down, and found the hooks, found everything that needed to be resonating with the community who has that short attention span, and seeing some value, seeing some growth, and seeing some engagement on the TikTok side. Listen, folks that are 15 years old up to 40 years old who have a phone in their hand, they're gonna watch it in portrait. They're not going to be like us old school folks and watching in landscape like we want them to do. They're not 16 by 9, they're 9 by 16. And if you can format that content and that route, and you can grab them on that first screen with a bang or something with music or explosion, or just buy this, buy that, the clickbaity stuff.
I got some stuff up my.
Okay.
And my gunslinger over here that I just got to master it. And once I master it, I think, because I like to edit, and I tell people all the time, anybody can shoot, but can you edit? And so
it's like taking your camera off of auto and putting it on manual.
Right. so can you? I can shoot, but can you edit? So now my thing is finding that B-roll, and I've been watching a few strategies where it's like, oh, okay. And then I find myself when I'm like, let's just say hypothetically, I'm shaving, I'm cutting my hair, or whatever the case may be, and I got a YouTube video going, and the strategy that the man is saying, I'm watching another video, and as soon as I hear a sound effect or I see something, now I'm not cutting my hair, no, I'm watching the video. So now I'm seeing seeing these strategies, and I'm like, okay, you gotta hear what he's saying, process it, and then now you have to start implementing that. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's funny again, because we're typically in our own way, and so many folks have already had success, and they're not overnight success. We may think that they're overnight successes, but you go through and you learn, and instead of trying to recreate the wheel every single time, get in where you fit in, get in on trending sounds and hashtags, things like that, if you're looking to grow, if it's right for you. So I'm finding success with TikTok. I am obviously I'm putting my foundation in YouTube though, but I mentioned those other platforms. X/Twitter is where I have a nice size community, and I want to continue to maintain that and continue to pay attention to that. But Instagram is going to be in my strategy for 2024. Instagram is really going to be.
Instagram is the new TV, man. Especially here in Atlanta.
Is that right?
Here in Atlanta, man, you already getting the news, and I think I seen you post all the time where stuff has gone on, and we're seeing it in real time, and then the news may report on it a day later, or they may report on it at 11 o'clock, but this thing happened at 12, 1 o'clock, and it's like, well, why didn't it make the 5 o'clock news? Y'all late. Like, I don't have time for that. So I mean, it's like I can literally go on and they'll tell you what happened. You get Instagram is the new TV. I don't care what anybody says, and not taking anything away from TikTok. TikTok that's the new TV as well. So it's like I'm not over there, but I'm seeing a lot of people posting on TikTok, and then I guess it transfers over to Instagram, because you'll see the TikTok emblem. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm seeing the videos on Instagram, but they were originated on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, it's that time. It is
Yeah.
that time. Yeah,
It is. Stay with the youth. Stay youthful with
yeah,
the youth. So that's where I'm going in terms of my strategy, and also building up the channel, a separate channel within Instagram that's kind of more an exclusive premium bit of content. Just
mm,
started it, and I think I've got 50 or so people that have subscribed to my Instagram channel, Hicks New Media channel. So, Tall Boy, when we're in Vegas next month, I'm gonna be
yeah.
blowing them up, and we're gonna talk about CES in a little bit too. So that's my strategy: YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram are where, and obviously Twitter. We're gonna be living. Not gonna be posting a whole bunch of stuff on Bill. You know, I wish them well. I mean, shouts out to the black owned, black started network. They're doing there's they haven't caught on yet, and I just don't want to.
It takes
I don't.
time. It's not going to happen
I don't
overnight.
want to spend my time trying to
Mm,
help them grow. I know that sounds
No,
selfish. I know that sounds selfish, right? But I can't
well,
spend cycles that I have until they get to the point. Now, hopefully they
you're
will
wrong.
continue to grow.
You're wrong. Go ahead, Corey, because you was about to say something, but you're wrong, James. Go
Mm.
ahead, Corey.
well, I'm trying to consolidate my. It's like I'm like you, Tall Boy. I'm a one man show, and I have my manager, but it's a lot to think of content for. You know, I try to figure out how to make my content for all my platforms, which I know is not the right strategy. But when you're the only one making it and you're the only one doing it, you have other responsibilities. That's how I have to move. But I'm just like you, James. I'm not really big on the TikTok thing, but I understand the need for it. And what I'm trying to do in 2024 is I was focusing on like letting people know we exist, my community exists. Now it's going to be more like position it as a thought leader, which means I'm going to have to make content. Some of my members are going to have to make content that we highlight on our channel, and that means making like this, you know, the what's it 9x16 videos and
Mhm.
doing those kind of things. So like we were at Afros and Audio in October, so we had it's not the best shot footage, but it's footage, right? And we got some really good. So I can either take the audio and just go straight audio and just do some graphics and stuff, or I'm just gonna put the video out. It was the first time I ever did something like that, so and people were helping me because I was so busy. But we got some really good interviews out of it,
Nice.
and I'm gonna try to figure out how to condense it down or turning it into 20, 30-second, 90-second clips so that we can start using that. But it's for me, it's like overload. Like it's like Twitter. Yeah, it's a job in itself, and I tell people all the time, this is social media. I pay your social media managers, pay them because it's a lot of
Yeah.
work. And I love Twitter. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on there, to be truthful. The podcast community is still on there, so I'm sticking where it's at. I think it's a wonderful medium to engage people, like you said, in real time and get
It is a
feedback and have
community
really
water
great
cooler, right?
conversations.
Regardless of what Elon Musk is doing, it's still a community water cooler, right?
But at the end of the day, I'm paying for it and I'm getting spammed like crazy. And I thought that's what I was paying for, that
Are you
not to
do you have
happen.
premium? You got premium plus.
See, that's
I know, yeah,
I
right.
don't know
So
what I have. I got whatever
you
we
paying
came out with.
$8.
You don't
paying
have that
$8 or you
bandwagon
paying
to deal with
16?
this.
No, so you paying $8
No,
or
but
you
see,
paying
but then I have a
16?
problem with that because you told me $8 and now you're telling me I got to pay more and I'm getting all,
That's
like,
Elon. That's he tripping right now. So
Money
yeah.
grab.
so it's like, okay. But we do get a lot of engagement on Twitter and our Instagram. I will say that. So my focus is, but I'm keep being told behind the scenes by people we know, LinkedIn, Corey, LinkedIn, and I'm like, listen, man, like it's a lot for me to. I have a whole community I run. I have my business I'm running. I have my own personal stuff I'm doing, and it's like I can't focus on it. So I'm really just trying to condense it down. So when I was like talking with someone this week, it was like, okay, Twitter is kind of like getting a little stale in regards to engagement. I've been noticing lately, and it might be because of those changes where the premium and the premium plus and all that stuff is going on. And I know when you change all that stuff, there's a time, a period where it has to correct itself and everything. But maybe Threads is where the audience is at for what we're trying to do with the community. I'm going to start testing that out in first quarter 2024 and see what we get. Facebook, I have a Facebook community over 2,000 people, so I'm not gonna not do Facebook right at this point, but I'm trying to move people. I'm trying to move away from the Facebook groups and get more people, as you know, James. I mean, what we're doing behind the scenes,
Right.
get more people into our own community versus me managing 2 separate communities at once. So I think it's right now for me. It's just going to keep it simple, keep it easy. I'm definitely want to work on building our YouTube channel. So I'm working on some things behind the scenes right now. The YouTube, Instagram, not off of Twitter yet, and probably add TikTok in there at some point too, because you can just edit the footage and just.
I'm gonna get all y'all. I'm gonna get all y'all.
I'm starting to understand it better, and I like you guys are saying. I was in my own ways. Like I didn't even want it on my phone, for other reasons. I didn't even want it on my devices, but I'm like, you know what? If I want to get to where I want to get this to, I have to do it. Right? Truth. We have to do it. I have to think about the company and what I'm building versus if I feel so strongly about it, I'll just go get me another phone and just keep that for what I need to keep it for. Versus me, getting like we were saying, getting in our own way and saying that this, because there is a community for me that on TikTok, I'm just not consistently putting content on there.
Mm-hmm. And I guess it's a little bit of a different conversation for you because, again, you live in the audio world versus Tallboy and I live in the video world. But I want to go back to a couple of these comments, and then Tallboy, I want you to go into, because I always purposely try to open up wounds and open up and have the conversation. You said there was something that I mentioned that
Eileen, that is the main reason why we do Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
That's the main reason. Otherwise, I would go on LinkedIn
for audio events. That is also the reason why I don't have a newsletter on LinkedIn, because they've got a wealth of attention and access on LinkedIn, especially from the social side, and they turned on creator mode, right? You got creator mode available to you, but they are just not. Microsoft, who owns LinkedIn, is just not. I don't know. They are like Eileen is saying, they sleep.
That's what it is. They special. They special.
They need to put some of us in some of these control positions.
It's a bunch of brainiacs that think that they know everything, but they don't know nothing.
Mm.
Or they're not listening.
Telling everybody to focus essential to your productivity. Appreciate you, Florence, for being here as well, my friend. But
that's the name of his shoe brand, Equip. I see you, Equip Institute. Yeah, I see how you put that in capital FOCUS.
Listen,
she got a pair of shoes over there. Them shoes,
she don't have the shoes, but
they just don't come in my size.
She had the planner. She was one of the OGs to buy the planner back in the day. So yeah, she family. Come on now. But you know what? The shoe. Hey. Okay.
I saw the unboxing video. Yeah.
Okay. I got ADHD.
I saw the unboxing video. Boy. So you want me to break down what I was trying to explain to you earlier?
Yes, please, before I go into a tangent like that.
So the reason why I post on Fanbase, and I know a lot of people probably are not even familiar with Fanbase, right?
Yeah.
I know that they're up and coming.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to happen overnight. But even with Spill, Threads, or any of these other ones, you're just basically just trying to establish the subject matter expert over there. Now, they may blow up. And do you really want to be the guy that's trying to compete with everybody else? Or do you already want to have the information already planted? You've already planted your seeds. And now when they see you, the first thing I do is I'm going through your content. This is what I do. I don't know what other people do. But it's like, oh, they got a body of stuff over here. You're more likely to get a follow from me if I see that you've been here for a minute, even if you post once a month, or I see that you've been here for some time and I see some consistent content that's on that page.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to my Fanbase page, I got that long form content. So whatever I posted on Instagram, whatever I posted on Facebook, it's going on Fanbase. Now, you may not see it in 2023. But in 2024, you're going to be like, man, this dude went all the way back and he was dropping some gems back here. Now I automatically got a follower.
Yep.
I'm not expecting them. I'm not expecting, the community over there. They're there. If they find me, great. But then my thing is there's going to be a migration of Spill, Blue Sky, a migration of to Fanbase eventually. And something happened similar with what was the audio thing that y'all was trying to do where all y'all Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Clubhouse redid their terms and conditions. and a lot of people left, and then there was a migration of people that came over to Fanbase. Well, they were trying to figure it out and like, how does this work? Well, I never heard of Fanbase, and they don't do it like it. Well, first off, you're not on Clubhouse. This is not Clubhouse Part 2. This is called Fanbase. This is how it works over here. And then when you come over here, we're showing you that this is everything of a Instagram, it's a Facebook, it's a YouTube, it's a TikTok, and it's a Clubhouse all in one. So you got your audio rooms. You can do flicks, which are like 60 seconds or less. You can do your reels, and then you can do your Fanbase Plus, which is anything over 1 minute all the way up to like 2 hours worth of content. So you can like literally post your whole show on Fanbase if that's what you want. And then on top of that, you can lock the content or you can make it available for free. And then if you get a like, you can either like it or love it. So if you like it, it's just a regular like. But if you love it, this is where you get paid as the creator. You're getting a half a penny for every purchase. So let's just say you get 50 cents or 50 loves, you got 25 cents. When you get to that $25 threshold, you get the cash out. There's no other platform that's paying you for your content. Yeah. You can go into the audio room, and when you go into that audio room and you're having that conversation, if people like what you're saying and you're giving some value, they might drop you some loves. The next thing you know, you done probably walked out of there with $10, $15 worth of love. So what, $10? I mean, depending on what it is, $10 is 10,000 loves. It just depends on, did you create a room? Do you provide some value? And do they say, you know what, I want to give you 50 loves. I want to give you 5 loves. I want to give you 1,000 loves, whatever it may be. So at the end of the day, this is the only platform that's actually paying you to post your content, because you're not getting paid nowhere else outside of YouTube. So, I mean, why not go somewhere where it could potentially get you paid? So that's the way I look at Fanbase. But I mean, no different from you being over at Spill or Blue Sky. Back to the original point, post the content there. Even if you just give a short sentence and a link, and then once you give that short sentence or link, then that you can drive them back to your YouTube page. But they're seeing that you have a body of work to where you're not just posting. Once the great migration comes. So that's what I was trying to tell you.
Great migration. Oh man, I like that. So let's be transparent here, because that's what we are, and we want to be top notch. Tallboy, you are a investor in Fanbase.
Right? Yeah, I was a second generation investor.
Okay, correct. So I just wanted to put that out there, just in case Isaac Hayes is listening. And Isaac Hayes is the second or third. His son Isaac Hayes III is the founder and creator of Fanbase. And the reason I had them on my list is because I see value in that platform, and they are light years ahead, to be honest with you, of some of the other platforms in terms of consolidating all of that functionality, and the fact that they were conscious at the beginning of finding ways to pay creators. That's baked in. That was never an afterthought of Fanbase. Fanbase at the beginning said, listen, we're going to pay you. If you're active on the community and you drive people to Fanbase and you turn up rooms and turn on monetization, how Fanbase works, you see it, I got it on the screen right here, get paid for content. So that I really like about that. But, what Eileen is saying here, there is always that risk. Some of these platforms coming in, got the great ideas, but there is that risk of them shutting down. Because one, they don't have enough investors like Utah Boy, or they don't have enough utilization. But think about Blab, right? Just like she was saying there. I remember we was hot on Blab. Blab was. But
it's a hit or miss. I mean, quite naturally. And here's the problem with Fanbase. And Fanbase could be awesome, but the problem is the major blogs and the major reporters, they do not want to give them the same credit that they are giving. As much as you're reporting on X and as much as you're reporting on Spill or Blue Sky or any of these other startup platforms, give Fanbase that same opportunity that you're giving them. But because it's owned by Isaac Hayes III, catch my drift of what you're saying, what I'm saying. Because it's owned by a certain person, you're not giving him that same press. You're not giving him that same opportunity to be able to allow the masses to make a decision. So he's out there doing his self-marketing and his self-promotion. Now, don't get me wrong. All these platforms have bugs and they have kinks. They do. But at the same token, On the flip side is they're working through those kinks, and you are seeing people migrate over there to fan base. And if you like to talk, or if you are a Clubhouse person, then you're finding yourself over on fan base more often, because now not only am I posting, but let me jump into some of these rooms and see what the topic of conversation is all about. And you can get somebody, and I've literally connected with people from all over the United States. I've connected with one or two that have come to Atlanta and said, hey, I'm coming to your city because I had a conversation with you via audio. Now we're over here doing business together here in Atlanta. I would not be able to do that on Instagram, or do that on an X, or do that on, I don't know you other than what you post. Now I'm actually hearing your voice. Now I see that you're providing value and you're coming in here consistently. So I just think that the VCs, they need to give this platform the same opportunity that they gave the others. And I also think that media should give them more exposure.
Yeah. A lot of times as well. So shouts out to Mr. Cox in the building. Appreciate you for being here, man. And I think this is Victor, Basic Networking and Streaming. Appreciate you for being here as well. A lot of time the onus is on us, the consumer, right? The onus is on us to actually support, especially if we are going to put content, if we're going to put energy into it, we have to support and do like we typically do, talk about it, right? And share it and advocate for it and tell folks to use it. I am a fan of you get what you pay for as well. And I know, Corey, you were talking about paying for premium Twitter. I pay for premium X. So I pay I pay the $16 to not have any ads and to have the further reply reach. And I think you get 1080p as well for your streams. But I pay if I'm going to build a community on these platforms and utilize that for business, utilize that for networking, things like that. Again, I really feel that people pay attention to what they pay for. And if I'm paying $16 a month for a social network to have these bits of functionality and capability, I'm going to put some energy into it. But it's a weird catch-22, and that's why I brought it up. You can't be at all of these places at the same time. I do want Spill to be successful. I really do. But Spill is just, it's definitely for the culture, and I love that piece, but it's more on the entertainment side. And I'm just going to be selfish, right? I'm here to enlighten, entertain, and educate. A very small piece of that is the entertainment piece. I'm really more on the enlightening, the advocating, and the educating side. I can't be here telling jokes and talking the gossip.
Unfortunately, James, if he putting $8 up and you putting up 16, his price point is 8. Mine is 0.
Yeah.
So he don't want to see no commercials, period, because that's my hard-earned $8 that I gave you. And like he said earlier, if I'm giving you some money, I don't want to see what you promised me, and now I'm seeing it. Now you went premium because that's where the Hicks, them YouTube checks kick in, so you can kick out another 8.
Don't put me out.
I'm kicking out 0. So if I get an ad, I can't complain. But if I'm giving you my money,
That's a good point.
You told me I'm going to see
That's
it.
a good point.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Period.
Especially when that's what you promised everybody. That's what you said. That was one of your things. Was like, yo, the bots. Okay, we paid, so we don't get the bots. And then I come on my personal account, and then there's all these bots. And now it's starting to come onto my business account. And I'm like,
come on,
what's going on here?
Hey, that's about to be my next drop right there. The bots. So I recorded that. That's about to be my next.
So I'll definitely have my lawyer reach out to you for the
don't worry about it. I'll make sure you get a percentage off the top. Man, you like that?
Oh yeah.
So let me put this on the screen right here as well. But first, let me talk to these comments that are coming in. We got some good stuff coming in. Just getting in. But do reporters not use the platform because the user base is not the same bang for the buck as other platforms? The juice is not worth the squeeze. Kevin Cox coming in hot here in the morning.
My thing is go out there and see it for yourself.
Yeah,
because like I said, once you jump on it, once you jump on the platform, you're gonna find yourself back over at Fanbase. Now I don't know about Spill or Threads. Like I was big on the Threads bandwagon, and I can't even remember the last time I logged on. But my thing is just that same energy that Good Morning America gave to Threads, because it was owned by who? why not give that same energy over here to fan base and just let people know that it even exists?
I think so, to answer the comment, because I also run my newsletter, and we're getting more into the journalistic portion of the newsletter. From a media point of view, it's your responsibility to report on it, right? If you're reporting on social media platforms and what's coming out and who's doing what, I think Fanbase has made a big enough noise for them to warrant media coverage, especially on how they've been raising their funds and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's more, is there audience there or not? There is an audience. They're raising funds. They're raising money, and they're doing it consistently. So if there wasn't something there, if it was a VC doing it, you'd be hearing about it all over the place. But the method in which they're raising their money, is, I think personally, would make for great news from a media point of view. And I appreciate this conversation, because now I'm going to go back and look at my newsletter and say, how can we utilize our platform, especially since we're trying to cater to the black audience? How can we support it and put it, like you said, James, how we can promote it through that medium? But I think as a reporter, you do have a responsibility, especially if your focus is in that social media space, to look at all the platforms out there and find what you need to find to either help people discover a tool that's going to help them, or even point out. I'll tell you this: the media was talking about, that whole Clubhouse incident with him.
Yeah. So that's where I was going to go. That was some of the best free advertising for Fanbase right there, because Isaac Hayes himself got on so many lives and talked about it, and the man did his research, right? He said, "Listen, Clubhouse did this. Oh, but we talked about this. We out here doing business. We're not out here trying to spite anybody. We love competition." So Isaac Hayes did himself and his platform a huge service by him getting out there and doing those lives and talking about the contention between Clubhouse. I think that, Tallboy, helped make a spike in terms of users, viewers, and people that were switching from Clubhouse over to Fanbase. Because I was loving that. I was loving when he would get on and he had all the receipts.
I'm just mad that you got X on the screen instead of Fanbase on the screen while we're talking about it right now.
Because
what they say?
Going back and forth. We keep going back and forth. I wanted to, Corey was talking about the pricing, right? And so I'll put it up here in a minute. But we were talking premium. I never get flustered, but you're going to make me flustered up in here, right? So the $8 a month, no ads for you and your following. But you see, it's when he started, that was a check mark there. But right now, I don't know. He's still, right? He took that off. So for premium and premium plus, you do have the capability and the larger reply boost. But that was something that was promised, I think, to people in premium. And he kind of snuck that one in. I apologize. Why am I
it happens. It happens. That's one thing with these companies. They can always change their services and policies. The only issue I've had with Fanbase, and even like with Threads, is correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, because for me personally, sometimes when I'm working on content and stuff, I'm not on a mobile device. I'm working, like what I'm on here. I'm in the bat cave, and I'm on my computer doing stuff, or I have all my multiple laptops all connected. I'm doing stuff on different things. To me personally, the whole mobile doing content, all my content on mobile, it doesn't. And I'm not an editor, so it's just time consuming. It's worse than when I'm doing it on my laptop, and I struggle doing it on my laptop. So it's like, for me, it's like, that's the only reason why I haven't really, like, we're on Fanbase. I just haven't focused on it, because it's like I'm managing Twitter, I'm managing our Instagram, I'm managing
your bandwidth.
I'm actually getting engagement. Yeah. So if they had like an API or something I could tap into, or one of my services that I use for social media management, it would just make life much easier. I probably would be using it a lot more, focusing on building it up.
There's not a Zapier integration, so something like that.
You know what?
Talk about API, okay.
I haven't even.
It's really more. To be honest with you, it's really more for people who are on their phones. You got to think, if you're going on Instagram or Facebook, you're going live, right? Where are you going live from? You're going on your phone. So people like us who are doing computer, like we're using live streaming, real professional equipment, this is not designed for them. This is really designed for that person that's on TikTok, Instagram, or going live
That's a
on,
good point.
So it's designed for that.
Yeah.
And as far as the editing, I mean, everybody's not going to use a CapCut. They're going to use DaVinci Resolve, or they're going to use, Final Cut Pro or whatever other source that they're utilizing, right? So I do think CapCut is rising in the ranks, but like he said, he is more of a desktop person. So that functionality, there's a way to rig it, but we have to have that offline conversation the way you can bring it onto your desktop, but but it's primarily set to use for mobile as opposed to using for desktop.
Yeah. I will say this, and then we'll move on to the next topic here. This is some great stuff. But what you just mentioned there, Corey, about we are sitting right here in these high-end studios with all these fancy lights and all these fancy buttons. But again, the consumer who consumes this, again, is coming from that mobile device, which they have with them 24 hours a day. So we are in the minority because, again, we're coming in with full frame cameras and high-end microphones, as opposed to that. The consumer just wants that 30, 60, 90-second hit that I'm in the supermarket and I see something happen, or you're sitting in your car and you have a brain fart and you say, let me write down, or let me say this bit of motivation to share with my community. Being able to consume it quickly, digest it quickly, doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have the dope cinematic effect. I'm talking about the cinematic effect that I'm rocking in here, right? But it doesn't have to have that. Again, just give me the content, when and where and how I want it, quickly and easily. And then again, back to what we've talked about before, get out of our own way. We're the perfectionists. We're the professional perfectionists who got to have the 1080, 2K, 4K look and feel. Got to have the
lighting,
the lighting, right? We got all the lights, we got all the microphones,
the spinning platform with the products hitting and everything.
Don't make me feel guilty that I stepped up my lighting game now.
No. So I say that again for another thing, really, and I think I'm gonna put some merch out that says this: get out of our own way, for the fact that, again, 90% or a high percentage of our community just wants us to bring the content. Don't worry about the delivery, and don't worry about the production so much, but just bring that content and be valuable, and then we'll be good. Let me bring up this comment here from Mr. Cox right here. He says, if I'm a creator, my goal is to be consistent, and adding another platform takes that extra time, and I don't have, and something is going to stop. I'm picking to stop where I start the one with the smallest exposure. There it is right there. Man.
Can you put that comment back up?
Yeah.
I think he's right. I think, like he says, I don't have time. I don't have, and something is going to stop. I'm picking to stop. So I don't have the extra time. So my thing is, you have to find those platforms that suit your needs, right? And once it suits your needs, you can't worry about what's going over here, in somebody else's soapbox. You can't worry about what's going on over here and, in somebody else's space. You just got to say, if I'm going to be on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, then that's what it's going to be. But you have to find what's happy with you, or what makes you happy, and say, I'm going to build. But I think what a lot of us find is we want all the followers. So because we want all of the followers, we're going to keep going to all these different places. James, can you take me off of the screen for a second?
Well, I purposely had just a moment of silence, let that marinate. Okay.
No, I got to take care of something real quick.
No worries, brother. All right. So what does that make you think about, man? Does that change your mind and your perspective about some of the things? Because we started out, we started sending you a couple of different directions, man. I'm just worried.
No, this helps. I mean, it helps. It just makes me realize, like, also what I've been learning, like what Tobo just said. Like, you start thinking about trying to reach all your followers on all channels, and sometimes you just gotta focus on one or two channels and grow those two, and then build your team. Like, I'm sitting here like, you know what? I know my limitations. When I'm sitting here in my office, my phone is only picked up to answer text. It's not picked up to think of content.
Okay.
Right. It's to, or maybe check an email so that I'm not interfering with what I'm doing on the screen. I'm not thinking, let me go log on to Fanbase and do a quick live. Like, even with my Instagram and everything, it's still not that. and I know I need to get into that practice more, but I also know that, you know, some of these things are really made for the younger generation. So I'm like, maybe I need to get me some interns and just have them working out of the studio with me and just remind me like, hey,
you need to go down to the local university and maybe not even the big, just go to one of the local community colleges and holler at some of those young cats, right?
Oh, that's on the to-do list for 2024. They actually, being here in New York, they actually, CUNY and SUNY have a program where you can actually go and apply and find the interns you need through their network. So
wow,
I was told about that recently.
I can see you probably giving a class. So here I'm gonna speak this into existence. 2024 is around the corner. I can see Corey Gumbs out there at one of the local colleges in New York giving a class.
I've done it already. I've done it this year.
This man right here.
Yeah, yeah, it was a cool experience. I want to do more of that. But yeah, this helps, and I definitely I've been wanting to establish something on Fanbase, and like I said, it's just consolidate, and then I have some ideas of how I want to deliver my content for 2024. So now it's like, you know, I'm right in the planning stages of it, and it's like, okay, which platform do I want to focus this on? For me, it was like, you know, I definitely want to build up our YouTube, so I want to start really putting some stuff on YouTube. Even the show we do on Instagram, I do with my partner Naya. We've been talking about possibly moving it to YouTube, the YouTube platform. We get response on Instagram, but I think YouTube might be the better format for what for the kind of conversations we're having, and we can reach a more broader base than, you know, on Instagram in that capacity. So we're trying to figure those things out as well. But I am consolidating because I just can't manage it. You know, I wish Threads had an API. I wish, you know, Fanbase had their API, and I wish some of the social media management services I use were connected, or even Zaps, right? Like, if anything would make automating the process much better, I would be more apt to jump in and just be like, okay, I can just use these and do that. But going from a desktop to my phone or iPad or whatever to put up content is like, that's a job in itself.
Yeah,
especially to be consistent, and, you know, consistent whether you're doing it once, twice, 3 times a week.
And at the level that you want to do it. Tallboy, you ready to come back on camera, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you think about it again. We are perfectionists, and we want to obviously bring quality when we come. So not talking about the production piece, but we want it to be right, and we want it to represent us, the brand, in and of itself when it's out there. And you're right. I see Mr. Worthy out there as well, man. Listen, you know, you got the keys to the front door. If you got time, jump on in the chat here before we wrap up. But how do you do that? And I also, so Tallboy, I'm gonna let you kick in, but I almost want to save that for a longer discussion, and maybe we start with that next time, right? Because that piece right there, and then what Steve and what Kevin are talking about in terms of monetization, again, where are you gonna put the energy at? And yeah, you can put all this energy in one place and have the followers and not be monetized. But we coming at it from a business perspective, and it's not just about the numbers of people. We want the numbers of people, but we want the right people. But we are also business-minded folks, so we also need to bring in revenue, and we also got to do it the right way, such that we can continue to sustain our efforts and our activities. Tallboy, go ahead, brother.
What's the question?
You was busy you was taking care of your own business.
Now, what I did get for Corey, you might want to look at like a social media platform that can do everything for you. Like I said, I'm using a service called Socialmonials. You can probably find where it does everything for you, but you have to make sure that it fits within your need, your use case. There's different platforms, and James can probably tell you, all right, if you got 2 LinkedIn pages, 2 Facebook pages, and 2 Instagram pages, or, you know, wherever else, you can do all of that with one post and then press send button, schedule it out. And
yeah, I have that.
So you can do that.
So,
yeah. So you just got to find the platform that suits your needs, right? And then if that works for you, then that will at least alleviate some of that pressure. The second part, if I'm following correctly, is finding the respective platforms that you're willing to, you know, say, I'm going to stay on. So like I said, my whole year is I'm building for YouTube, only YouTube. But then I also know to get people to come to YouTube, here's the micro content. And then at the end of my micro content, I lead you with
Right.
Don't forget to check out the show on Wednesdays at 8:00. This is where you can meet me at, so that's that piece. And then I don't know the third question that you had for me, James.
That's all right, brother. You came in. You got a good B plus. You was striving for the A, but you got a good. But I guess what I'm saying is this conversation is wrapping the right way. Right. Started talking about where we are today, where we plan to be for 2024. We started talking about a little bit of gear. Started talking about some platforms, and now we're really into what matters to us. Making sure that we're right for our community, make sure that we have a quality content, something that brings value, and we're all starting to step out into different types of aspects of bringing information to the folks that are around us. So is there the conversation now of, like Kevin Cox saying, sounds like you need to hire social media manager, a digital media supervisor. Time to bring in some additional folks to the team. You get in what you put in, you get what you pay for. It may be time to either reach out to Fiverr or find like Steve Worthy
A virtual
has,
assistance, a VA.
yeah, Steve Worthy has some virtual assistants, and pricing can be reasonable because I think he has some international folks, right? So, yeah, we want to keep jobs in the U.S. and we want to keep jobs in New York and Atlanta and California, but get somebody from the Philippines that don't listen. Get somebody
That's
that can
something
still
to
do
really,
the
you know what?
job
That's
and
something
be
to really.
global.
That's something to really look at. What you said,
sir.
having a VA or having
Mhm.
getting an intern. I think the thing with the intern is, I worked at a radio station, very popular radio station here in Atlanta, and one of their things was, we can allow the interns to come in, but you got to remember, if we trust them with this, this equipment that costs thousands of dollars, they can literally get upset, and the only thing that we can really do is let them go, tell them don't come back, and then they get an F for the semester, right? But you're trusting them with the keys to your brand, as
Yes.
opposed to
Oof.
hiring somebody that is experienced. So that's the trade-off. Whereas if you pay somebody that knows this, then it's either or. You're either gonna trust somebody with the keys to your brand, and you're saying, I'm willing to give you the tidbits of knowledge. So now it's finding somebody who is just as passionate and wants to do this, and they're just looking for that opportunity, and they resonate with what you're presenting or what you're offering. Or you pay somebody top dollar or whatever their rate is to push your brand out. And that's where that, social media manager is saying, hey, I'm making money. And I mean, we all know, a couple years ago, the D-Rocks became very popular because our guy literally was saying, hey, I wanted what Casey Neistat was doing and doing this, and he didn't know how to do it. So he hired a D-Rock to do it. Now everybody wants a D-Rock. Now they're looking for who can post this content. So who is going to be that person that's going to be posting out those multiple forms of content 5 times a day, the way, he says it, the way Gary Vee says it. So, yeah, that's a question that you have to ask for your own self and say, which route do I want? The intern route, the virtual assistant route, or do I want to just pay somebody, the top dollar route, and I know it's going to get done the right way?
Or just know your limitations and know what you can and what you cannot do. And back to the statement that we keep saying, get out of your own way. When you can't give 100% to each of those places, at least give a high quality. At least make sure what you put out is quality, right? Don't come half stepping. But
and then I think for the
understand
merchandise piece,
limitations.
I want to ask this question because I know that there's multiple ways through subscriptions, through merchandise, but what are some other ways that you can monetize? I'm struggling with that, saying I have all this skill set, maybe create a course or something like that, but what else can you offer? Because you got to think there's people that want the services, but how else can you monetize? And maybe this is why I'm on this forum today,
Yeah.
to learn from you guys as well and say there's multiple ways, but you want to be able to at least put yourself or at least make yourself available or say, let me at least explore it. And I think as we close out this year, you're doing your research to say, all right, I need to have this stuff at least in motion going into the new year. It's not like I'm starting January 1. We're starting in December. So when it rolls out, you can kink it out throughout the holiday season. And then when January hits, it's like, all right, let's hit the ground running because we're headed to CES and it's, Can't be trying to figure it out at CES. You got to know what you're doing.
We gonna hit the street. So you talk. All right. See, now I'm sitting up straight. You talk about how we can monetize and how we can have multiple streams of income and things of that nature. One, that already got my antenna going because, hey, that could be another session that we could have. We can make that a premium session, charge folks to get in, or not charge, but again, make it locked down to only members and subscribers. And there's value in that as well, right? So getting more folks to subscribe and to become members. So there's win-win there. Selfishly, I'm going to be on the Ecamm stream show on December 10th talking exactly that with DJ Strick, right? How to monetize and how to grow your content reach and realm. So tune into the Ecamm stream show on December 10th, and I'll be talking specifically about that. But listen, Roberto Blake says it all the time. And y'all know who Roberto Blake is. Man, the man is out there. He's got all the play buttons, things of that nature. And he's been doing this for years. Multiple streams of income. Google AdSense checks on the 21st of the month. Yeah, they're nice, but that is a small portion of your monetization strategy. Merchandise is a piece of that as well. Consulting, coaching, one-off webinars, one-off courses, things of that nature, right? That all of that from a digital content creation perspective should be part of what you offer your community. So one-on-one consulting, coaching, master classes, workshops. Y'all know Canva. Y'all know Publisher. Oof, I just flashed back and said Microsoft
Publisher.
Come on, y'all know the Adobe Suite. So Canva and the Adobe Suite. You can make graphical overlays. Think of our dude Sammy. Right, Sammy. The first time we met Sammy hooked us up with some overlays. So do digital assets as well. Start creating things for folks. A lot of folks don't want to make web overlays and scenes like that. If you hire someone to do that, so have that in your toolkit. The live stream is the entrant, in my perspective, is the entrant into you and your ecosystem and your marketplace. I don't expect to get money from super chats and things of that nature, right? I expect to get conversation from these streams, to whereas we go back off and we talk more at a specific level instead of at a general level right now, right? So I plan to have someone like a Kevin Cox saying, "Hey James, let's talk one-on-one. Let me book time on your calendar. This is how much I charge per hour." And then we have that conversation, and then there's revenue there. So multiple streams of income, at least 10 streams of income, or 10 different monetization strategies. Let me put that 10 different monetization.
I was about to say, name the 10, because I mean, you said merch.
Don't forget also
assets.
Don't forget too, like speaking engagements. Speaking engagements.
Right.
I was recently asked to be a voice actor on someone's podcast. Like even getting into that space, right? Voice. You brought up you had me think. You said digital overlays. I'm like, well, what about the sound snippets you guys use on doing that for somebody? Like if you have a good ear for that.
I have a client right now who I create most all one of the things content.
One of the things I talk to about members of my community is I tell them, like, we see what I always equate, because my background is really in music, and growing up in Queens, I was there when DJ Clue. I was in the music industry when DJ Clue came out, and it was real big. We're from Queens. He's doing his thing, and I remember when I was service DJs records and stuff, they would always be like, "You got exclusive, because that's how much of an impact he had in the mixtape game. Where his strategy was, I'm going to get exclusive songs from people, and then everybody wanted it. And I was like, and I always tell, I used to tell people in the music industry, but I'll tell people in my community too, is like, listen, it works. I see you wanting to do what you see everybody else doing, but sometimes you got to you start putting yourself in a box where you can't start seeing things and seeing opportunities as they come. If you start to train your mind to look at, like, when people talk to me, and that's part of my prop, but this is the con of it. You start hearing, you're like, and my notes, my notes on my phone is just ridiculous right now, because somebody walking by might say something and it'll trigger me, like, hold up, where's the business model in there, right? Yeah. Even if I'm just thinking of the idea of it, and I'm now at a point where I'm like, where's the gaps that I can fill? And I think that's where you start to figure out the monetization part too. And I think being in touch with your audience will help you, like getting feedback, doing surveys, watching what they're saying in engagement will help you to figure out how to monetize better, and see what you can offer your audiences. But like I've been doing a lot of reading on business models because it's helping me to narrow down my ideas and say which business model does this idea fit in, and if it's not, do I want to do I want to take the time to invent a new business model? I'm targeting low hanging fruit at this point. So subscriptions, service programs as a service or whatever. And I just want to tell people, like, I watch a lot of videos on SaaS. A lot of it applies to what we're doing, where you're talking about coursework. You don't have to have software, but the premise of it is still it's still the building blocks for a lot of it. So product market fit and all that stuff. So, but you got to be creative. So, things. I always say with podcasting, the beauty of podcasting is that there's no right way or wrong way to do it, but there are the right way. There's a foundational right way and wrong way, right? Your show doesn't have to be like everybody else's show, but you know what you need to do. You need to have a good microphone. You need to have good audio. You need to have good cameras. If you decide to bring that part, you can't avoid that. You can't skip that part. Now with cameras, like we talked about earlier and all that stuff, it's entirely, whatever your budget and your plans are, but you still need a camera. You still need a microphone. You still need access to the platforms. So you got to invest in that. Yeah. Period. Like at some point you got to make an investment. So when people are like, oh, just start with your phone. Okay, if that's where you're at, cool. But there needs to be an active plan. And it's the same thing with monetization. Start where you're in one space, but keep an open mind, because opportunities are hitting us left and right. And there's some people out here doing some real creative things with monetizing their stuff. And I'm like, I was at my friend's daycare the other day, and they were playing somebody took like nursery rhymes and turned them into trap songs. And I was so mad at myself. I was like, why didn't I think of this?
You knew you had that.
I was like, why didn't I think of this? Because I would have, like, I'm sitting here like, how could I use my music? And I'm like, man, I could have just got some kid to come on here and rap the ABCs to a dope beat and put it out on Spotify and get that streaming money. So sometimes the ideas are so simple as that.
Still
and
can.
Like,
You can. You come to a whole nother city. You can go to New Jersey, and I'm pretty sure nobody in New Jersey got that. You can definitely come to Atlanta and say I got.
But it was just the fact that somebody said, "Let me do this," and now of course it's going to be copycats and stuff. But because people see people being successful with it. But I'm just saying, just always keep an open mind, because sometimes, like I said, I walk in Manhattan, somebody might say something and it just triggers something that has like, hold up. Let me figure out there's an idea in there somewhere. Yeah. Can I implement it, or is it worth me taking the time, at least sitting down and like thinking about it and working through it and saying, maybe this is not the time. Let me put it in my back pocket, and maybe a year from now when I'm in a certain place, or maybe there's a market for it or something. So that's how I move.
Hey, my action button on my phone is set to voice notes, and unless you got it registered as a trademark or already as a quote that you've got patent pending, I can put it on a t-shirt. I can call my next course that, my next ebook that, or whatever the case may be. That's good stuff. Yep, my action button is set to quickly record voice notes.
Here's a funny thing. Last week I was just having a conversation with a partner, right? Family member. He's a dope photographer. His last name is Wright. All right. So his company is called Right Way Photography. He says, I just would love to have somebody put something on a shirt for me that says, I'm trying to see if I can find what he said. He says, if I could just get somebody to put this on a t-shirt, I'll be all right. He says, you don't know how good you look until you have your picture took the right way. I said, bro, I got time today. I literally created him some sweatpants, created him a sweatshirt, and he's always in the gym. And I'm thinking, he always in the gym, he just get a little tank top, and the girls be looking at him, and he got the two photographers pointing at the circle, and the only thing is missing is you right here, and you don't know how good you look until you have your picture took the right way at the bottom of the. Dude said, I just asked for a t-shirt. I ain't asked for a whole clothing line, brother. I just But
that's how
time.
it be.
Yeah, it was like we just
on it, right? I think again we are in the minority because we actually acted on that, and everybody has all these great ideas, but if you don't act on them, then that just goes into the wind. So shouts out to you for just acting on that.
Yeah, just the regular conversation, and it's like getting those creative juices flowing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think I'm a creative. So because I'm that creative, it's like if I hear something, James and I had a conversation with a young lady that was in college, and we were trying to help her with some stuff last week. And hopefully she'll get her, they'll get their stuff right. But it was like, hey, you're doing one thing, but you know what? We can monetize this, and you don't have to worry about having the inventory in house. You can just drive them to your website. When they drive them to the website, you could be making money while you sleep. And she liked the idea, so now it's just a matter of her getting her stuff right, and we getting her taken care of. So it's like, but I'm always thinking, like you said, just walking down the street and I'm hearing something, and it's like, okay, now I should be charging her a couple of dollars, but I get it. You're a freshman in college, so I mean, I'm just trying to put some coin
have her
in
make
your
you a
back
meal
pocket.
or something. Have her make you, I don't know, some steamed crabs or something with a cheesecake.
Something like
Have her
that. Yeah,
have a hooky up.
yeah.
Listen, let's
Once you get a couple
let's be cognizant of time. Appreciate folks jumping in. Worthy, you should have jumped on camera because you said you was
you
gonna
get your
be
boy
here.
Kevin Cox on here. I like
Look,
him. I
Kevin
like
is a
him.
man. Come on, man. You see he got the
Kevin
wrench
Cox, I
too.
don't know you, brother, but I mean, you
Oh,
was throwing out some gems today, brother. Same to
Dr.
you,
Cox is a
Eileen.
Batman. You see he got the wrench too. He family. I'll introduce you to
Kevin
Kevin
Cox,
Cox.
brother.
Yeah.
I like you, bro. I
Yeah.
don't even know you, but I like you.
Oh no, you know him.
Yeah,
Now you're gonna know him, right? Because we gonna bring all these winners together, and he.
okay.
I love that bit. But so
I might have to hire you, James, to give me
Yeah.
a song for Steve, so when he don't show up, I could just hit the button.
I got one in
like
my mind.
like he does
already.
for me.
I got one in my mind already. Let me see do I have.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Oh,
No,
I got one.
I go.
I got one, a good one. Tribe Called
Roadcaster
Quest,
before.
Q-Tip, where you at? Where you at? Steve.
Steve
Here we
is.
go.
Y'all find hanging out the window with my wretched ass friends. I'm F-R-E-E.
He just freed it. That's what it is.
Lord
He
have
right. He
mercy.
hanging out with his ratchet friends. That's what he does.
That's it. Tell folks where they can find you. I tell you what, Mr. Gumbs, tell folks where they can find you online so we can build out that community.
Well, after this conversation, I'm on pretty much all the platforms, but
Yeah.
you can find me I'm mainly on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I run my community's social media, so Black Podcasters Association. It's a long name. We have different lengths of screen names, so just go on your favorite platform, search for Black Podcasters Association, and most likely my account is going to come up, and you can reach out to me on there. As also I _am_ Corey Gumbs on Twitter, so you can reach out to me on there as well. And yeah, or do a Google search. I come up.
Love it. Action beats intention all day long. Okay, action beats. That may be. I might have some new merch here in about 2 hours. So yeah, I might bite that. Tall boy, talk to him, man. We need to, you and I need to have separate conversations about second week of January anyway about CES. We should probably do a stream about that. Tell folks where you at, tall boy.
I'm trying to write this down. Action beats intentions.
I know that's dope, huh? Imagine.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing it
I'm
down
gonna put
right
it back
now.
on the screen. Everybody's got a bird shop.
Intention.
Make you something that says action beats intention all day.
You didn't finish the rest of the quote. Nobody changed.
Well, no, see, I purposely left. I have selective sight and selective hearing, right? That happens when you're married for 23 years, right? I have selective.
He hear what he want to hear.
I hear what I want to hear.
So you can find me at I Am Tall Boy. Just Google I Am Tall Boy. You'll see it. You'll find it. I'm really trying to build the brand out of the tech show, the Lab Tech Show. I'm open to any constructive feedback, whether it's harsh or it's positive. I'm always looking to build, and I'm trying to grow a following. I mean, they say you can monetize at 500 followers, and I'm only at 321. And I don't understand when I'm dropping all these gems. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So on YouTube, it's the Lab Tech Show. But then if you want to reach out to me privately or personally, I Am Tall Boy on the gram. Shoot me a DM. You can always have access to me there. And websites, labtechshow.com. And actually, the website is about 98% complete. Just waiting on a few more things to just tap in onto the tallboy.us website. So that's it. I am Tallboy, the Lab Tech Show, or tallboy.us, or labtechshow.com.
Love it. Love it. And if we again, folks, I'll have all these links in the description. I want to say what's up to Mr. Walter Strong III. Appreciate you for being here, sir. That's a bad man as well. We got to get you here on the Technologist Forum one of these weeks. Kevin said he's down to jump in. So appreciate that. Appreciate that. We'll definitely get you on all trademarks, son. You don't have trademark. You give us proof, Worthy, that you got the trademark, because
well, since James got, what is it, shop at Hicks New Media? I forgot to even
get it right now. It's I do have that URL too, but it's social.hicksnewmedia.com, because that's where it pulls in video assets, merch assets, calendaring assets, social.hicksnewmedia.
Since he's got merch, I forgot to mention, please feel free. Check me out.
Merch.
Tall Boys got merch. That's right. That's shop.tallboy.us. So not knocking the social.hicksnewmedia.com. It's
don't
long.
Come on here knocking this.
It's long, but I'm shop.tallboy.us. It's simple. That's it.
We done. Appreciate y'all brothers for jumping on. Appreciate the community for chiming in as well. I can't see it. It's grayed out.
Can I hit the button? Can I hit the button when we get ready to go? I like the little outro.
Take us out, brother. Take us out.
I can do it.
Do
Corey,
it,
don't get mad.
You already know.
Ow.
Tall boy.